Denim-wrapped nightmares, what is happening? First of all, shout out and thank you for your support. And secondly, I want to tell the people about Public Domain, their next favorite adult animated sitcom that you're going to love more than any animated show you've ever seen before, because you've already seen these characters before. These characters exist in a world where they've passed up their copyright, and now they're free to use for me in the public domain, and we're going to do it, and we're going to voice them by a bunch of supernatural characters, and it's going to be your favorite show. Now, we need your help to make this show because we can't do it by ourselves, and the executives are sitting on their asses, so go to our Indiegogo campaign. You'll find it down here, over there, or up there. I'm not really sure. It will be somewhere. Check it out. Donate a little bit, donate a lot. We got some great Christmas perks, including a naughty Santa card of me that involves, well, naughty things. So check us out, support us if you can. If you can't support us, thanks. Share us, like us, subscribe us, all the things that make online campaigns successful so you can have the next greatest adult animated TV show.
Welcome to Denim-wrapped Nightmares, Tipsy Exchange podcast, where we explore the Supernatural series, episode by episode.
Over drinks, we'll discuss the lore, the gore, and what we adore about the Winchesters and their adventures.
I'm Berly, and I'm a new fan of the series.
I'm LA, and I'm here along for the ride. Now let's get tipsy.
Hello, LA.
Hello, Berly. On the last episode, it was titled Frontierland, and we liked it.
Yes.
It was very cute. While searching for a way to defeat Eve, Dean stumbles upon Samuel Colt's journal in the Campbell Library. Realizing Samuel might have the answer to their problems, Sam and Dean ask Castiel to send them back in time so they can meet the man himself. While Sam is a bit reluctant to time travel, Dean is beside himself with excitement to return to the Wild Wild West.
It was very cute.
Yeah.
Today's episode is Mommy Dearest. It's the 19th episode of season 6, and it aired on April 29th, 2011. I've been like bitching on social media and bitching in our episodes that I'm confused, and a lot of people have been telling us, oh, you'll get more answers. There'll be an episode that you'll get more answers. And a lot of people have been telling us telling me it's the 20th episode. I feel like we got quite a few answers today.
True.
I wouldn't say all was revealed, but I mean, we learned a lot.
Yeah.
For sure.
The curtain has been pulled back a little. Not all the way, but we see some.
Mm-hmm. The episode starts out at a sports bar. There's two men walking out, and they see Eve walking up. She has on no shoes, a white sundress with a giant blood stain on it. So, of course, they naturally decide to just hit on her.
Yeah.
It's like, heaven must be missing an angel. Eve is just like, oh, you dumb fuck, and brushes her hand along his side, turns him into a monster. He doesn't know that's what happened. He thinks she was hitting on him. He was like, I think she likes me. And his buddy's like, no, dumbass, let's get you home. So they stumble away. Eve goes into this bar, and she turns around, locks the door, and rips off the brass handles to the door.
Yeah, nobody's getting out.
Nobody. She ain't fucking around.
She fucks that place up.
Mm-hmm. She goes walking in. And finally a guy is like, oh, holy shit, are you okay? Is that blood? And she's like, yeah, I suppose it is. And then she leans over and kisses him. And we see like the veins and stuff. And her friend is like, oh my God, PDA. What is happening? Or his friend. And then Eve is just like, yeah, I'm here for more children. Or I don't remember what she said, but she's walking around just touching people, men, women. She don't care.
Yeah.
Just whoever is within reach and convenient for her.
And you see their veins every time.
Yeah. And they like all start freaking out behind her and like attacking other people. And like,
It's a brawl.
But I love how Eve just still calm as could be, just kind of sauntering, almost ethereal in her bare feet with the white dress and everything. And she goes back by the pool tables and finds an abandoned daiquiri, just perches on a stool.
Just takes it all in.
Yeah, with her little beverage, just taking in the scene around her. And we thought, okay, they're vampires because we saw a bunch of people biting at necks. But we find out more about this little scene later. But it was quite the introduction to the episode.
Yeah.
Then we get supernatural. Next, we cut to Bobby's basement. Dean is loading up shotgun shells with the Phoenix ash. And things are moving pretty slow. I'm not sure why. I guess they're having to treat the ash for some reason. I don't know. Bobby and Sam come down are like, how are we doing? How are things going? Which would lead one to believe it's been quite some time.
Right.
Right? Like you wouldn't ask somebody to go do something and then 5 minutes later come down and be like, how's it going? What's the progress? And he's only loaded 5.
Mm-hmm.
So for some reason, this is quite the time consuming process. I myself have never loaded a shotgun shell, so I don't know. Maybe that's typical. But I was kind of like, I wonder why it's taking so long.
Yeah.
It's not important. It was just a ponder that I had. Dean is irritated. Not because this is taking some time, but because he had a little accident where he got the ash on him.
Mm-hmm.
And so he shows Bobby and Sam, look, like smears it on his forearm. He's not happy because the Phoenix ash doesn't do shit to him.
Mm-mm.
He's like, why? This is supposed to burn up Eve and does nothing to me? But here's my point. Like, silver doesn't do anything to you.
Right.
Holy water doesn't do anything to you. Calm down, Dean.
Right. Jeez. Such a drama queen.
But they're a little concerned. You know, what if this means it's not going to work?
Mm-hmm.
And we don't even know where she is. And one of them suggests, I think it was Sam. He said, we need an inside man, a monster with empathy.
Yeah. Friendly monster.
Yeah. Who's going to care about what's happened? We need help locating them. We need help getting them here. So we think you better make a call, Dean. Dean does not like this. He's like, why do I always have to be the one to make the call?
You know why. Dean.
He says, it's not like Castiel lives in my ass. And then we hear flop, flop. And Sam and Bobby both look over Dean's shoulder. And sure enough, Castiel has appeared.
Mm-hmm.
Dean didn't even have to call him. He just had to mention his ass.
Yep.
Dean is surprised and turns around and is like, Cass, get out of my ass. And then Cass says, I was never in your... And they share a weird exchange of looks. And then we just move on.
Yeah. Don't ask.
Quite the scene. They end up going all the way back to season 2 to the vegan vampires who we met. One of which was played by Amber Benson. She is who was captured by Gordon and tortured by the excellent Mr. Sterling K. Brown. Castiel.
Lenore.
Yeah, Lenore. Isn't that Poe? Poe? Isn't there something Lenore with Poe?
Oh, I don't know.
I think so. Edgar Allan Poe. Anyway, Castiel goes and picks up Lenore and brings her back. And she does not look good.
Yeah.
She's in rough shape.
Rough.
I mean, she's beautiful, but
Yeah.
she just clearly is having a rough go.
Yeah.
Turns out all the monsters constantly hear Eve's voice in their head. And it's encouraging them to attack people and feed and change people and all of this. Like telling them, go turn as many people as you possibly can. And all of her nest couldn't resist. They all took off, left her, and are turning people, feeding on people left and right. Sam and Dean convince Lenore to tell them where Eve is. She lets them know. I mean, the second I tell you, she's going to know, you know. Like, we're psychically connected. And Bobby said, okay, so we're not going to have the element of surprise, but we still have to start somewhere. So we still want you to tell us. She does, but she tells them it's not out of the goodness of her heart, that she wants a favor. She says, kill me, please.
That's a big ask.
I mean, she is miserable, though,
I
girl.
know.
You could see she is miserable. She's guilty. More than anything, she's scared because she knows she's going to do it again.
Yeah.
And she starts telling Sam and Dean about the last victim she had. I think she said that it was a kid who couldn't have been older than 16. And, you know, she's just, I know I'm going to do it again. Please put me out of my misery. And you know what? She's a vampire. Who knows how old she was? Maybe she had a really good life.
True.
You know? Sam and Dean aren't the one who do it.
Yeah, they're very reluctant. Like, you can tell they don't want to do it.
Mm-hmm. They don't want to do it, especially Sam. You can see it in his eyes. He doesn't want to do it. He doesn't want to hurt her. But Castiel steps up to the plate and has no problem. Smites her from behind. The special effects on that were pretty damn good.
Yeah. I like that he, his reasoning for doing it like that was they needed to get things moving along.
Yeah.
You know, it's taking up too much time.
Yeah. And Sam and Dean are both just like, what the fuck? Just standing there with like their hands out. Like, I was like shocked. And then I was like, that was really good special effects then. And then I was laughing though at Sam and Dean's reaction as they were just standing there over Lenore's body. So sure enough, Castiel does move things along. He immediately transports Sam, Dean, Bobby, and himself to the location.
I think, was it Grants Pass, Oregon?
I didn't write it down.
I think that's what it was.
You are correct. Grants Pass. They're looking around and it just seems like a town that's happy as could fucking be.
Yeah, a little quaint town.
Yeah. I think Dean said I was expecting more zombie land, not so much Pleasantville.
Yeah.
I thought that was cute. Kids are riding around on bicycles, like nothing. Everything's fine. They're going to have to start from scratch. So Bobby says, I need me a computer. They get him an iPad. I don't know if that was product placement or what.
I'm sure.
Bobby got really familiar with the iPad very quickly. He was very handy on the iPad.
He wasn't happy about it.
No, he was not. But he made it work.
Yes.
So he's going through databases, not really finding anything. They're sitting at a table in a diner, and Castiel says, okay, I'm going to search the whole town and see if I can find something that's going on. But then he's still sitting there. And it turns out that Eve has blocked him somehow. Dean was like, what, you're saying mom's making you limp? I was like, ew, ew, Dean. And I love how Castiel felt the need to clarify. I mean, figuratively, yes. In other words, I could still get it up, if you know what I mean. Just FYI. Just figuratively.
Yeah.
I just don't have my powers. Bobby hacks into a federal system somehow and finds out that a doctor in the neighborhood had called the CDC. So they're going, okay, it's pretty serious. Let's go check this out. They split up. Bobby and Sam go to the doctor's home. Castiel and Dean go to the doctor's office. We're going with Dean and Castiel first. So they get to the office and they see a woman leaving and she's locking up. And she lets them know, he didn't show up for work today. I have no idea what's going on. He didn't call in. He's not here. So Dean and Castiel decide to do a good old B&E. Mm-hmm. They go around the backside because she was, of course they do. Of course they do. She was leaving out the front. So they go around the back and they're trying to break in. As they do, Dean spots some blood on the floor. So of course he goes and sticks his fingers in it.
Gross.
No gloves. I thought we had come further than this. They hadn't done the no gloves thing in a while, but not today. Today we're going to stick our fingers in the blood outside of the doctor's office, who had called the CDC.
Right, yeah.
Because that's
smart.
He follows this little blood trail to a little storage shed kind of thing. It was a cute little storage area, actually.
Yeah.
I thought that was cute. Kicks in the door, and they find the body of the guy who got hit on leaving the bar at the beginning of the episode.
He looks awful.
Looks real rough. Yeah, I thought Lenore looked rough. No.
Yeah, no.
This guy, like, looks like his skin has been falling off or something.
Yeah.
I mean, it looked real bad. Good makeup. Real good makeup, but damn.
They didn't do a very good job hiding that body.
No.
Just put a little plastic wrap on him.
Yeah, just wrapped him up like some sod or something. Like, just throw it in the shed. And Dean asks the question, what kind of doctor calls the CDC and then stores the dead patient's body in a shed outside?
Right.
To get gooey and gross and start decomposing out here. This is fucking weird.
Mm-hmm.
So they're just like, okay, we just need some kerosene. We need to just burn this. Let's just take care of it. Sam and Bobby are leaving the doctor's home, and they've come to the conclusion that he is missing. His car is outside, but there's nobody in the house. No bags have been packed. He's just straight up vanished. And after they've made this assessment and they're leaving to go meet back up with Dean and Cass, a cop comes pulling up. This is my friend. I heard he didn't show up to work, and so I'm here to make sure he's okay. Who are you?
Bobby handles it.
But I mean, they looked like they were going on a fishing trip, right?
True.
But they're whipping out their FBI badges.
Yeah.
We were working a case and we were told to come here instead. But, this is just how we wear our clothes. This is just what we're doing. But yeah, Bobby handled it real quick.
Mm-hmm.
He was like, it's a really long story. Why don't you put out an APB? I'll meet you at the station and fill you in on all the details.
Yeah. Like, no, he didn't miss a beat.
Sam was like, congratulations. You win the gold medal for talking out of your ass. Mm-hmm. Bobby's just like, I've been at this a long time, okay? I'm a pro. That didn't really happen, but that's what happened in my head.
Yeah.
What Bobby really says is, we're on a ticking clock now. Like, we've been spotted. People are suspicious of us. We got to get it going. We got to get the move on this. The four of them meet up, and they are outside of Ed Bright. That's the dude from the bar that they just burned his body.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
That's his name, Ed.
Yeah.
So they're outside of his house, and they're trying to figure out what the fuck is going on. This is weird. This doctor's gone. We found this body. Weird shit going on. And Castiel was like, does Ed have brothers? And they're like, no. And so Castiel's like, okay, so this is really weird. That's not his twin then? And they look over, and the dude is like in the window, like coughing away.
But
and it's him. It's him. Yeah. Sam and Dean decide.
It gets worse.
Yeah, it gets way worse. Sam and Dean go and kick in the front door, guns a-blazing. Like, what the fuck? Because they're thinking it's a shifter or something, because they just found this dude's body. What's going on here? They walk in. There's 5 other bodies strewn about.
The same body.
Yeah, it's all Ed. They're all Ed, still in the Bruisers. I think that was the name of the team. Still in the Bruisers jersey from the night before. They are all strewn about in different positions. None of them are in good condition. They're all looking worse for the wear, just like the body they found.
Weren't like all of them dead but one?
Yeah, all of them are dead but one. And the only reason they know this one is not dead is because he finally starts coughing and moving. So they're like, oh God, okay. And Dean's like, don't touch anything. But you don't have masks on or anything, and you're going to go get into the personal space of this coughing. Again, CDC, you have no idea what's going on. And they're trying to tell Ed, like, no, it's okay. In fact, they find out it's not Ed. The guy's like, they come up and they say, Ed? And he's like, what? No, I'm not Ed. Sam digs through his pockets or something and finds his ID. And this is actually Marshall. This is the guy who was walking with Ed when they were leaving the bar at the very beginning. So they start referring to him as Marshall, and he asks, but do I look like Ed? And they're like, no, you look fine. And he's like, I think I'm dying. And they're like, no, you're good. You're okay. We just need to tell you, tell us exactly what happened. Like, essentially, they're just trying to get as much.
Make it quick.
Yeah. Right?
Before you're gone.
They're trying to get as much information out of him as they can before he dies. And they're trying to keep him calm and not be aware of, like, you're about to be gone. He's coughing, spewing fluids everywhere, and they're still just like, try and tell us. So they end up getting the story from him that they were leaving this bar and they ran into this chick. So they know that's what they need to do. And luckily they get it right before he goes limp and dies. Jeez. So they're like, job well done. Let's go fill in Bobby and Cass. And while they're talking to Bobby and Cass, I think it was Castiel who said, this seems more like an infection.
Yeah.
And that's when Dean was like, shit, like, where's the Purell?
Yeah.
I need help.
Now you're concerned.
They go to the bar that Marshall, looking like Ed, told them about. And it's all locked up. But they, of course, do what they do and kick themselves inside. Because I guess it was still locked from when Eve was there, which I'm like, how did she get out?
She's Eve.
Oh, yeah. Hyman's going to find a way. She's going to make it happen. They're looking at all these bodies. They're just strewn about, all the bodies from the brawl that she had set off at the beginning. And at first, Dean pulls up the lip of one of them and sees the teeth. And immediately is like, yep, this is a vampire. Ellie and I were very proud of ourselves, like patting ourselves on the back, like, yep, we called it. But then he lifts up their hand. We spoke too soon.
Yeah.
They also have the bone marrow thing.
Sticking out of the wrist.
Yeah, like a wraith.
Mm-hmm.
Which we met in Sam Interrupted in season 4, 5?
Sure.
And so they're like, wait a minute. And Dean asks Bobby, what has fangs and a poker, a jabber? Bobby's like, I don't know. You discovered it. You name it. Dean decides to name them Jefferson Starships. I know that was a band. I don't get the joke that they're like hard to kill. They're awful and they're hard to kill. I can't think of a Jefferson Starships. I know that's a band, but I cannot think of a single song off the top of my head.
Yeah, no.
So I don't get the joke. Somebody will have to let me know if that was a real zinger that we missed out on.
Please explain it.
As they're talking about it and being like, hey, we got to burn all these bodies. The police show up. It's the same cop that they ran into at the doctor's house, and he's brought backup. He's got a bunch of people with him. He's like, FBI might ask, because the FBI can't do this. We were like, what did he mean by this? Like the break and entering? Or
That's what I thought he meant, but then...
Or is it the multiple dead bodies that were strewn about?
Probably that one.
Yeah. But they thought all these people were in this bar in the middle of the day. Like, we end up finding out that it was all a ruse. They knew exactly who they were. But in the moment, we were like, what? The cops take them all back to the station, and they figure out they're Jefferson Starships.
Oh, Dean hid at the bar when the cops came.
That's right. Dean did hide at the bar. They didn't spot Dean.
So they didn't take him in.
So they just took in Castiel, Sam, and Bobby. They're trying to fight them off, and luckily, Dean does arrive.
Saves the day.
Saves the day, and they're just chopping heads left and right.
He, like, just decapitates the guy that has Cass.
Yeah, the Cass is up against the wall about to get attacked by a Jefferson Starship, and we see the blood splooge all over him. Was that a splooge? It was kind of a wide spray to be a splooge.
I don't think...
Splooges are normally more concentrated. Anyway, Cass gets it all over his face, all over his shirt. It's just like rude. And he like chopped the head. It wasn't even like completely decapitated. He like chopped the head like in half.
Oh, yeah.
And there were a couple of those that happened. So lots of gore, lots of head chopping, lots of blood spraying. They get all them Jefferson Starships, but one. Sam stops them from killing the last one because they got to torture him.
Yeah.
You know?
We got to get some answers.
We need some more information, man. As they're doing this, they hear a noise from the back. And Sam and Dean go in the back, and they discover there's 2 kiddos locked up in a cell. Their heartstrings. And I loved how they each went to, like, their counterpart.
Mm-hmm.
Like, Dean went and squatted in front of the older brother, and Sam went and squatted in front of the younger brother. Little boys are like, we're the doctor's kids, and we're just food, and that's what they told us. And just being sweet as could be.
Yeah, the little one doesn't talk. Not since it happened.
Yeah, the older brother said my little brother doesn't talk not since it happened. I was like, y'all were both gagged, so how do you know that? Maybe he just didn't want to talk with a gag in his mouth. It didn't end up being important.
Nah.
Sam and Dean buy it hook, line, and sinker.
Oh, yeah.
100%. The new priority is getting these children somewhere safe. And Castiel tries to say, excuse me. We have a whole town of people who are in danger right now.
Time is of the essence.
Yes, we gotta get a move on. We gotta find Eve. We gotta get this thing going. It's not just about 2 lives. We gotta save everybody. It's the greater purpose. That's what he said that triggered Dean.
Yes.
Because Dean was just like, I'm fucking sick of the greater purpose. All right? I'd like to just save these 2 kids, if you don't mind, Cass. So excuse me while we drive 15 miles out of town to take these kids to their uncle. So Sam and Dean do that. They just drive to this uncle's house and are like, hey, man, sorry. Your brother's dead. Here's your nephews. Bye. And they turn around to drive back. We get another Castiel and Bobby moment where Bobby's being daddy to Castiel. He's adopted another kid.
I know it.
He's like telling Castiel, like, Sam and Dean are going to do what Sam and Dean are going to do. Like, you're going to have to let that go. So what do you say? You and I go torture that guy together, you know? Have a bonding moment.
Have a good time.
It'll be fun. It's fine. Come on. What are you going to do, Cass? Are you going to stay here and pout? Or are you going to come and hurt this guy with me? Cass was like, I guess I'll go hurt the guy with you.
Yeah, it sounds like a better time.
Yeah. And then after he watches Bobby try to hurt the guy for a little bit, he was just like, just give me 5 minutes. And we don't see what Cass does, but we hear some screaming.
Right, because he doesn't have his powers, so you're like, what is he going to do in there?
Yeah. But whenever he came out, his hands were soaked. Bloody. I guess he did an angel cavity search without his powers. He got the location of Eve. So they know exactly where they need to go.
I think Bobby was a little unsettled.
I would have been too. Don't you think he would be?
Oh, yeah.
Because same thing. Like you said, he doesn't have his angel powers. He didn't have a weapon with him. So whatever he did it with his bare hands.
Yeah.
And when we do see the guy later, the sheriff guy, he has no head.
Well, and it's like, it's not just
ripped
like
his head off.
the inside of his hands, like the whole hand.
The whole hand
was covered in blood.
Yeah, drenched. I mean, he at least pushed his sleeves up because his
Yeah.
trench coat wasn't soaked in it.
Yeah, he did something.
Yeah, he did something. And so, yeah, that's like disturbing. Like, what'd you do?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Cass is really changing.
Yeah.
He's
on a mission. We know that much.
yeah, he's getting a little darker.
He wasn't fucking around. Sam and Dean get back to the police station. They hear, okay, we know where we're going. They get their shotgun shells. They've got 2 different duffel bags packed up, ready to go. Let's go fuck up Eve. They're outside the diner looking in. Eve knows they're coming. The sheriff told them same thing that Lenore did. The second I give you the location, like, she's going to know you're coming. No element of surprise here. What are you going to fucking do? Sam and Dean said, okay, she knows who we are. Which I don't know how they knew that, but I guess it's because of the cannery incident that she knows, you know, kind of thing. But Sam and Dean say, you 2 stay out here as backup. We're going to go in. Your plan B. They go in, and this is the same diner they were at when they first came to town, by the way.
Yeah.
The exact same one where Bobby was clicking away on the iPad. So they're just like, really? Are you fucking kidding me? Like, she's here? And she ends up being their waitress.
Mm-hmm.
And the whole restaurant is full of Jefferson Starships.
Yep.
And
I did like how Sam pulled out his phone to check everybody with his camera.
I missed it the first time. I had to
Yeah.
rewind it because I was like, what is he seeing? I totally missed it. But yeah, all of their eyes were glowing, like the laser eyes, the mandroids. So all of them were shifters / whatever.
Her children.
All of her babies, her new hybrids that she was making. She explains to the guys that she was perfectly content with the deal they had before. That her children turned some of them. In exchange, she lost her children every once in a while to people like Sam and Dean.
Mm-hmm.
She was like, it was even, it was balanced, I was fine. But then you start capturing my alphas, my firstborns
Mm-hmm.
and torturing them and peeling them off one by one. Now I'm pissed. She also lets Sam and Dean know this is still happening.
She really plays favorites.
She does, right? Clearly. Like, she doesn't care whenever the newborns get killed.
She's like, you can tap them.
Whatever. That just happens. But then her firstborns start getting attacked, and she's like,
hell
oh,
no.
hell no. Hell no. Mm-mm. Sam and Dean are confused. They're like, okay, well, that's not happening anymore. And she's like, yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. Crowley is still alive, and it's about the souls. He's trying to come and get all these souls, and I'm not having it. So guess what? I'm going to take as many souls as I can. How's he going to like it when he doesn't get any human souls at all because I've turned every human into a monster?
It's a lot of work.
It's a lot of work, which is why she's trying to make the Jefferson Starships, because they spread more quickly. They'll be more efficient. I respect Eve for that.
Yeah.
She's being strategic, you know?
It's a good plan.
Yeah. And then she lets them know that she had to do some trial and error. I think she said it was beta testing.
Yeah.
Oops. But she did perfect her new monster, her new Jefferson Starship. And Sam and Dean delivered them to a brand new town. In fact, I don't think she said them. I think she said him.
Yeah.
It was just the youngest who hadn't been talking.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, why is it always the baby brother? Like, it was Sam in season 1 that got the demon blood, and now she's doing the baby brother, like, here, too. I was like, that sucks. And we, sure enough, see the two kids at their uncle's house, and the baby brother attacks and kills the uncle, and then we see the baby brother attack the older brother. So she's like, yeah, that little kid that you took to that town, that whole town's going to be Jefferson Starships by the time, by this afternoon or something like that.
Thanks for the assist, boys.
Yeah.
You
She's
know?
like, really, thanks. Good job. You're really helping me out, helping with the delivery and all of that kind of stuff. I really appreciate it. She also changes her appearance, by the way, during this conversation.
Yeah, when she's talking about being a mother.
Yes, to their own mother. So we get a nice little cameo from Samantha Smith. She looked fabulous.
Yes.
And I love that Eve just had to be dramatic and have wind blow through her hair when she made the change. Like, she's caught up on some General Hospital or some Days of Our Lives or something while she's been topside and was like, that is fabulous. Whenever I make an entrance, I'm going to have the drama, right? Thank you, Eve. Yeah, like the beautiful blowing as she turned into Mary Winchester, talking to them about all of this, taunting them as she's telling them the plan and that they fucked up and actually helped her out. And of course, they are just like, God. And you know, right then, Dean was just like, oh, like he did not want Castiel to know. Like, you gotta know. He was like, oh, damn it.
I'm fucked up again.
Yeah. We were trying to figure out, like, I thought originally that Crowley was trying to get to Purgatory in order to release Eve, which we find out by the end of this episode, not the case. But now the question that I still have is, why were the monsters building armies? Were the monsters building armies to try and protect the alphas from Crowley because he was apparently being so successful that he pissed off Eve?
I don't know.
That's the only thing. I'm still trying to figure out, why were the monsters making armies? Why were the alphas and the monsters making armies?
Yeah.
That's the only thing I can think, is that they were trying to protect themselves from Crowley.
Yeah.
But it just seems like Crowley wasn't being that effective if he had to hire Sam and Dean to come help him catch. Like, how many alphas did he catch? I mean, he did have a prison full of them. I don't know. Moving on. Eve has confiscated their Phoenix ash.
What?
You heard me.
What? I don't even know what you said.
I said Phoenix ass.
Okay.
Phoenix ash. She was impressed, though. She was like, that was clever. You had to go pretty far to get that, didn't you? And Dean was like, you have no idea.
I bet she does.
Like, the Phoenix is a monster too. Was she psychically connected to him? Well, no, because she wouldn't have been surprised by the Phoenix ash. I cannot say Phoenix ash for the life of me. Eve tells Sam and Dean, so you worked for Crowley before. Why don't you work for me? I want Crowley. And Dean says, no. Like, we worked for a demon, but I won't work for a demon, bitch, or whatever he said. Like, we don't work for demons. We don't work for monsters. We're not going to work for you. And it's like, but you were working for a demon for the vast majority of this season. I mean, come on. It was okay whenever Sam didn't have a soul, but now that Sam has a soul, you're going to draw the line.
Now you're too high and mighty.
Yeah. And Dean is still thinking that he's got plan B.
Yeah.
So he's really digging his heels in with Eve, thinking that, you know,
got my boys outside.
They still got their Phoenix ash. We're good. But then sure enough, some Jefferson Starships drag in Bobby and Castiel, and they've confiscated their shit too. So they're fucked. They don't have anything. So Eve / Mary Gets right up on Dean's back. Oh, he did make the wire hanger. Like, you can beat us with wire hangers. And I was like, oh, yay, there's the mommy dearest connection. That was cute. I guess Eve loved that movie because that pissed her off. That was over the line. And she gets right up on Dean's back and is like, or I'll just fucking turn you. And then I'll be able to psychically control you. And you'll do what I want anyway. And Dean eggs her on a little bit. And so sure enough, she bites him. And right away, she's just like, oh.
Something's not right.
Indigestion like a bitch. She starts, she changes. We get the nice wind again. Changes back into brunette Eve, her normal form. And she's got Dean's blood all over her mouth. And there's like purple kind of flashing going on around her heart, like what it kind of looks like whenever demons get stabbed with a demon blade.
Yeah.
And she is like, oh, really struggling. And then, like, this black water stuff starts running from her hairline.
She's, like, got blood coming out of her mouth and nose. And then, and the flashes, the way they did this was very horror movie-esque.
And it went on for a little too long, in my opinion. Just a smidge too long. It was these intense close-ups of Dean just kind of mean-mugging her, like, gotcha, bitch. And her just being like, like,
just like slowly
dying. And it was just these extreme back and forth close-ups.
It was not a pretty death.
It was not pretty, which, you know what? Good. Like, she's supposed to be the mother of all. She should have been hard to kill. And when she did finally get it should have been like that. If she'd just fallen over, that would have been boring as hell. I'm just saying, it just went on just a hair too long for me.
Yeah, I could see that.
The death was fantastic. It just smidge too long, especially with the really close, uncomfortable close-ups.
Yeah. Ugh.
What
was it coming from her head?
I don't know what was oozing out of her head, seeping through her pores. Because, I mean, remember that was Hymen. Hymen was Eve's vessel.
Yeah.
Like, whatever was in Hymen was Eve. So I don't know if that was supposed to be Eve oozing out of her, or if it was like, I don't know.
It was gross.
It was rough. It was a rough way to go. But Eve's done for. And I was just like, okay. Like, yeah. So Purgatory was not leading up to Eve because we got her in like 3 episodes and she's done.
Yep.
They're really zipping through these storylines pretty quickly. Like the Soulless Sam storyline got solved, in the first half of the season. And then his wall already has been cracked, which, I mean, that shit hasn't fallen down yet.
Yeah.
But that still happened pretty fast. Eve got released and now she's been killed pretty quickly. But I'm happy they're looping back around to Crowley now.
Yeah.
This season just really lots of twists and turns. I don't know if I like it or not yet. I haven't decided. Kept me guessing all season for sure. Turns out, by the way, that Dean had put some whiskey ass.
What?
God damn it. Some Phoenix ash in his whiskey. And did a shot before they went to the diner. So he had Phoenix ash in his blood.
That's smart.
It was very smart. Really, really smart. So that's how they got the Phoenix ash into Eve. She did it to herself, you know? Look at me victim blaming. I'm just kidding. She bit him. I should probably cut that
He's
part
hard
out.
to resist.
Here's the other thing. The Jefferson Starships, everybody all just stood around and watched her die.
Well, I mean, what could they do?
Well, once she was dead, then the Jefferson Starships were like, oh, fuck. And they all started attacking. And Castiel, because Mommy Dearest dead, Castiel says, shut your eyes. And he goes really bright. And we see it from outside. I wish they had blown the windows.
Yeah.
But I'm sure there were circumstances as to why they couldn't blow the windows on that set. I just wish they had. It was a nice touch to have the car alarms going off outside.
True, yeah.
But I do wish they had blown the windows whenever Castiel did that. He smites everybody in the whole joint. Boom, done. Bobby's like, we need to bring you on more monster fights. Oh my God. My new favorite son. That was really impressive. Then they tell Castiel, by the way, we gotta go find those kids. We fucked up. We fucked up.
Cass's face is like, God,
yeah.
I fucking told you.
Dean's just like, I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. So they go to the uncle's house and they find the uncle's dead body and they are just like, oh shit. Who knows where these kids are? They've probably turned the whole town by now. Oh my gosh, this is the worst. And then Bobby opens one door and the little kids' bodies are right there. Bobby's like, no problem.
Got a couple dead kids over here.
Problem solved. We're good. And they find some sulfur in the doorway. So they're like, okay, so why would demons gank baby monsters? Why would they care? Why would demons give a shit?
Right.
Sam and Dean kind of look at each other and Dean says, by the way, Eve told us Crowley is still alive. And Cass acts very confused by this because he burned his bones. How is that possible? I had his bones. Everybody saw. How did that happen? I don't get it. You know what? I will rectify this immediately. I'm going to go find out what's going on. And Cass just ditches them.
Uh-huh.
They're just left in the middle of this town. So, like, again, call Uber. I don't know. Bobby and Sam and Dean, get your bus pass. Get back home safe after your whole ordeal. Sorry about that. Cass goes back to the restaurant and we see the jukebox play a song. I didn't recognize the song, but the subtitles did tell us it was Jefferson Starships.
True. I like that before Cass was at the diner that Bobby, after Cass took off, was like, I mean,
oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Is it like Cass to really mess things up?
Mm-hmm.
You know?
After Cass took off, Bobby and Sam both kind of gave each other a knowing look, and Dean just looked so confused. Like, what are y'all talking about? And they're just like, something's not adding up.
Yeah.
And he's just like, no. Like, Sam, you don't believe him. This is, no.
Cass doesn't make mistakes.
Yeah, that's what Bobby said.
Yeah.
Bobby was like, man,
unless he wants.
I thought I had a new favorite, but now he had to turn around and just, yeah.
It's not good.
So Sam and Bobby are like, But Dean's still keeping the faith. We're back at the restaurant. I do wish they had put on another soul song. Soul music seems to be Crowley's jam. But it was a nice touch with the Jefferson Starships. But I'm just saying, that's not Crowley's music. Crowley's music is soul music. Everybody plays the fool. That would have been a good song to play.
Yeah.
That was his intro song. And everybody in the episode has been played a fool by these two. So Crowley comes walking in. She's just like, Castiel, how many times am I going to have to clean up your messes? And we just both were screaming.
Cass's face, he looks so pissed.
He looks so irritated with the whole thing. Cass and Crowley have been in cahoots the whole time. It's all about the souls. Death told us what was up back at the mid-season finale. It's all about the souls. So, but here's my whole thing. Why is Crowley helping Castiel get souls for this war machine that he and Balthazar are making? What's in it for Crowley? Because we know damn well something's got to be in it for Crowley.
Well, he already has purgatory, right? Or is he still wanting purgatory?
Oh.
Yeah, he wants purgatory. That's what it is.
Maybe whenever he told them that's why he was doing, maybe there's some truth to that. Maybe like he's going to get purgatory once they find it. Maybe that was the deal.
Yeah.
Castiel gets the souls, but Crowley gets the real estate. So Crowley told us the truth back then, too.
Yeah.
He just didn't say he had an accomplice. What's going to be the big revelation in episode 20? Everybody was saying episode 20. I feel like we got it in this one.
Maybe it goes deeper.
This was written by Adam Glass and directed by John F. Showalter. All right, so Showalter, I think he does those close-ups and stuff. I think that's something that we could expect from him in more episodes. I feel like he did some of those in Clap Your Hands. Did you adore anything about this episode?
I thought it was cute when the boys were taking the boys, like how protective and how much they wanted to get the little kids home to their, well, not home, to their uncle. And just like you could tell they saw themselves in them.
Yeah.
I thought that was cute.
Especially in the Impala.
Yeah.
There were like hardly any lines in that scene. And I 100% picked up on that too.
Yeah. What about you?
I mean, I like that things have finally connected for me. It's been driving me crazy all season. And now here we are. Dots connected. I'm thrilled. I am thrilled. And as much as I was bitching about that death scene and that it was just a hair too long for me, it was still good.
Yeah, it was.
It was still quite the death scene for Eve. I don't know that I'd say I adored it, but
yeah,
it was cool to see something different.
Yeah.
Gore. I mean, I would say the gore, there was a lot of gore, particularly in the sheriff's station whenever they were taking out the Jefferson Starships. But I mean, even at the beginning, I mean, I guess that wasn't so much gory as it was just violent, but yeah, goriest thing. Oh, we did get a blood splooge when the baby starship murdered the uncle. We did get a splooge on the frame on the mantle. That's happened before, where we've had the quintessential family picture on a mantle get blood splooged on it. So I guess that's going to be an ongoing thing that we'll see every once in a while. What about the lore?
For the lore. Okay, well, this comes from, it's titled Eve's Evil Legacies from Gresham College. There are other wayward women in the Bible, including Mary Magdalene, Delilah, Salome, and Lot's wife, but none competes with the myth of Eve. Her curiosity and disobedience to God's command loosened evil into the world. She's not a phoenix.
No.
She doesn't follow commands.
Mm-mm. Oh, my goodness. He does what you say.
Well,
He's a demon. I don't care. If I can't have my archangel, give me a phoenix.
right? All right, well, the story is familiar. Its bare bones involve Eve being tempted by Satan, who appears in the form of a serpent, to eat from the tree of knowledge of good and evil, which Adam has been forbidden to touch. Eve's plucking, eating, and sharing of the fruit was what created time and therefore history. Not only were the serpent and Adam cursed, come on, but special punishment was reserved for women as the descendants of the original Eve. And Genesis 3:16 tells us that God told Eve that I will greatly multiply thy sorrow and thy conception. In sorrow thou shalt bring forth children, and and thy desire shall be thy husband, and he shall rule over thee. Fuck that.
Right?
Subsequently, then the myth of Eve's monstrous agency has been employed to justify patriarchal ideologies and practices.
Evil woman.
Since ancient times, the story of Eve's curse has led to her and her female descendants to be reviled. In the book of... I always forget how to say this.
Why don't you go with what's in the parentheses there?
Oh. In the book of Ben Sirach, it almost looks like Sriracha. Written in the early 2nd century BCE, Sirach contends that sin began with a woman, and because of her, we all die. Oh, thanks. That's nice.
You remember that next time you cross me.
Right? Fucker. I mean, she was fucking hungry.
Yeah.
God.
That giant, you know what? That giant phallic shape is what told us to do the bad thing.
Exactly.
Fuck you.
Getting mad. Okay. The Christian church fathers complained that Eve beguiled her husband by pleasures. Yeah. What do you want her to do?
This pussy on fire. I'm in it.
Thus proving to be an enemy rather than a helpmate.
I'm like watching LA get physically
I am getting
angry
mad.
over here.
It's bullshit. Okay. In De Cultu Feminarium, whatever the hell that is, Tertullian insisted that as descendants of Eve, women are the devil's gateway, of course.
Mm-hmm.
He addressed women directly, charging that you are the unsealer of that forbidden tree. You are the first deserter of the divine law. You are she who persuaded him whom the devil was not valiant enough to attack. You destroyed so easily God's... Okay. You destroyed so easily God's image, man. On account of your desert, that is death. Even the Son of God had to die. It's all our fault. It's all our fault.
It's all our fault. This is why they're taking all our rights back away.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, fuck, we forgot.
And do you think about adorning yourself over and above your tunics of skins? Similarly, another man, John Chrysostom, maintained that the woman taught the man once and ruined all. Well, I'm sorry he was a dumbass. It needed to be taught.
We were like, oh my God, you know what would be really good? If you knew the difference between good and evil.
Yeah.
Fuck me.
It might be helpful.
Yeah.
Sorry, help, mate. I was just trying to help you out. Okay. This was why he contended that women should be forbidden to teach. Oh. For Jerome Dracontius, Thomas Aquinas, Martin Luther, Heinrich Kramer, and James Springer, to list a few, Eve's story was proof of female inferior, even evil nature. In more recent centuries, Eve's original sin has been employed to justify violence against women. It's just getting better. An obvious example is during the trials of the witches in the pre-modern period, when women were accused of being the instrument through which the devil wrought havoc.
Yeah, it was like Daughters of Eve, right?
Right. Yeah,
Yeah.
of course. Although boys and men were also accused of witchcraft, most victims were the descendants of Eve. It was the girls and women, many menopausal... What? Why is that necessary? Many menopausal ones.
It's important to note.
Yeah.
Important to the plot.
Who were attacked, tortured, killed in the name of the Holy One. They were also trapped in an impossible tension. On the one hand, witches were castigated. castigated for being female, weak, and insane. While on the other hand, they were formidably powerful with duplicitous intellects and sexualities that could deny access of entire communities to divine love. They were diabolical Eves.
You know what's funny is like in science, they're tracking the Eve gene,
Oh, yeah?
which is basically if you go far enough back in human history, human lineage, we're all related to some degree.
Right.
If you go all the way back to the Eve gene. What about the sons of Eve? They're not evil?
Of course not. They're men.
I forgot.
Duh. I mean, witch trials were an extreme use of the myth of Eve, but even mild, rhetorical uses of Eve's name have served to thwart female prospects and progress. In 19th century Britain, for example, Eve was an excuse to confine women to domestic spheres. A poem by Christina Rossetti portrays Eve musing about her sin. Part of the poem reads, "As a tree my sin stands to darken all lands. Death is the fruit it bore. The tree of life was ours. Tree 12-fold fruited, most lofty tree that flowers, most deeply rooted. I choose the tree of death, I, Eve, sad mother of all who must live. I, not another, plucked bitterest fruit."
Mother of all.
Mother of all.
Right in there.
And this is actually from a full 30-minute lecture by Professor Joanna Bork. So check out the link in our show notes for more.
Nice. Quote to close it out. When they were in the diner and discovered that Castiel didn't have his powers, Dean said, "Well, that's great, because without your power, you're basically just a baby in a trench coat." Cass made a face and looked out the window.
And Sam says, "I think you hurt his feelings."
Cheers.
Cheers.
Thank you for listening to Denim-wrapped Nightmares.
Follow us on Twitter or Instagram, leave a review, and let us know how we can get involved in the fandom.
This was fun. Jerk.
It always is, bitch.